Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. You guys, there is something about getting Google reviews for your practice that felt like a unicorn for me for many years. I coached on it. I told people how to do it. And then honestly, I found one of the best companies that seriously has literally changed offices' lives. The company is called swellcx.com. Swell, people ask me, why are they called Swell? And my answer is because they do Google reviews so well. And that's why they're called Swell. We've actually used them with a lot of our consulting clients, and true testimonial, one of my offices specifically in Washington was able to get 110 reviews their first month using Swell. Other offices got 35, 50, 65. It is a consistent Google review flow, and they just do it better than anyone else. So you guys, truly, this is one of those companies that you can try out. They're really inexpensive, especially if you tell them the Dental Team sent you. And you're able to grow your population of your patient base. You're able to get patients that you didn't expect just by growing your Google reviews. So do yourself a favor, go to swellcx.com and get scheduled today. You guys, you will not regret it. Like I said, 110 Google reviews in 1 month, 65 Google reviews, 35 Google reviews, and they just keep doing it month over month over month. So get on over to swellcx.com. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys back because she's one of my faves and she's one of your faves. And she's been with the Dental Team for holy moly. It's been 3 years. It's insanity. Tiffanie Trader, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And I cannot believe how long it's been.
3
It's been
years.
a rockin' 3 years.
It has
I love
been.
it. It went by quickly.
I know when I say 3 years, I've been telling people we've only been in business for 2.5 years until I realized that was a lie. So that's fine. Clearly I'm a year behind. No big deal, but whatever. So, Tiff, we have a fun topic today for our listeners that you and I have personally and professionally been going through. And I can't take credit for this. I heard this from a doctor who heard this from, I think, Rachel Hollis. So we'll give her credit. And if it's not her, then hey, cool. We're just going to share a really cool thing. But the idea is to embrace the suck, meaning life can suck at times. And right now, I think through everything we've been through, everything that's been going on personally and professionally for a lot of us, I mean, Tiff, how many people do you know that through COVID, their relationships are different, their personal health or fitness are different, their jobs are different, just in the short amount of time that we've all been experiencing COVID as a nation?
Yeah. Well, personally, my relationships are different. My life's totally different. I've got so many friends that, pivoted and changed or didn't go back to their position. I've got some dental assistant friends that couldn't go back because of childcare. It's everywhere. So it's definitely affected. I think on some scale, it has literally affected everyone.
Totally. And so I think it's important, like right now, I wanted to just send out, Tiff, you and I will kind of riff on this one. Don't worry, guys. We've got some things, of course, already pre-planned. But the idea is to embrace the suck of life. Life is not always going, and what that means is instead of resenting or wishing it was different or hating what's going on, embrace it. Embrace it and find the beauty within. And this is something that I don't think is easy to do. And Tiff, I'm super curious of your thoughts on this because I know when things suck and they're hard, I get resentful and I get angry. And that's my go-to natural conditioning. But like I was listening to Tony Robbins I went to a virtual conference and he said, a lot of the things we do in life are just conditioned. So we've conditioned ourselves that when we have a problem or a challenge, that we complain, that we mope, that it's miserable versus saying, hey, this is an opportunity. What's the win in this? Or how can I get through? And that's like, and you can be like, yeah, but what about people that are getting divorced? Or what about people who have deaths? Or what about this? Or what about that? And I'm not here to say what your emotions are right or wrong. I think everybody experiences and you should experience it on your own level. What I'm asking and posing a question of is when things suck, have you conditioned yourself to look for the silver lining or to say like, hey, this is rough and this is what we're doing and embrace it and see it as an opportunity? Or have you conditioned yourself to kind of mope and to pity party and to have a really rough go? I know I'm guilty of the second. That's my natural go-to conditioning. And I've been working hard to embrace the suck. So Tiff, what are your thoughts on all of that? Any piece you want to take on?
Yeah. So I think that number one, I think embrace the suck is huge. And I actually just listened to a podcast, or not a podcast, it was like a YouTube thing, that compilation where Tony Robbins was talking about this just a couple hours ago. So divine this was meant to be. But it talked about really, I think, let me get my thoughts together. So I want to say that embracing the suck and embracing just the natural things that come to you in your life every day, it kind of goes into that perceptions versus realities mindset, because anything that happens in your life could be perceived by you any way you want it to. So I just think of it as like, what do you want today to look like? What do you want to feel like today? What do you want to accomplish today? How do you want this day to end? Like, do you want to go to bed upset and sad and angry? Or do you want to go to bed like, oh, that was, I accomplished a lot and could have been a rough day, but I turned it around and it was a good day. So anytime anything comes to you, like I've had some recent really big things kind of like a volcano. Like it's been like a volcano in my life. Things have just been like sputtering and spewing. And then one day it's just like the whole volcano is exploding. Right. And so I've had the opportunity to really dive deep myself into this whole embrace the suck mentality, because I can let it get me down. And I can really just spiral in it and think of all of the things I could have said or done differently. Or had I not hurt this person the way I did, my life could be, a little bit different. His feelings, her feelings could be different. You can go down that spiral so easily. Or you can say, okay, that's an event that happened. Like this has happened. It's in the past. I cannot change this, right? Or it just happened. It's still in the past. I still cannot change it. I cannot affect the outcome of what just happened. So why don't I take a look at it, embrace what just happened, and look at what in the world can I learn from what just happened? What can I see in there? What can I learn about myself is a huge thing. Like, why did I choose that route? Or why is this route the one the universe wanted me to take? Why is this good for me? And really just not necessarily spinning it to be positive, but embracing that it happened and saying like, okay, great. Now where do we go? Like, now where do I take this? This person's upset or this situation is topsy-turvy, but there's a reason for it. So now what do I do with that?
Are you guys sick of trying to figure it out on your own? I know I am. When I'm trying to run a business, sometimes I just think like there's got to be a better way to do this. And so for me, my answer has been to find someone who's done it and does it really, really, really well. Like I'm talking the best of the best of the best. I want someone who's been in my shoes, somebody who understands what I'm going through. When I was looking for the consulting business, I found a coach who literally has run a consulting business. Well, that seemed like the perfect fit. So you guys, right now, we have a few spaces open in our Platinum Consulting. That is in the consulting where we actually come to your practice. We help you get systems implemented. We don't just tell you what systems to implement. We actually implement them with you and for you. You guys, it is one of the best investments I've ever made is to hire a coach who understands the business I'm in, who's lived it, who's done it. And that's what we in the Dental team do. We literally physically fly to you. So if you're sick of trying to figure it out on your own, if you just want somebody who understands you, join our Platinum. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have our consulting team come out and see you, be in your office, be with your team, and truly help you get onto the easy path of dentistry. It doesn't have to be hard. So join us in the Platinum. We'd love to have you. And as you were saying that, Tiff, I just thought about, I love the notion of, what can I do in this and how do I want to feel? And if this resonates with you today, high five. And if it doesn't, high five. I don't think it matters. And I think there's multiple sides of the coin. I think all of us are going through different experiences and different challenges right now. And I was just thinking about So there was a thing I learned once that helped kind of free me in these situations, and it was that the event itself does not cause the pain and the suffering. It's the emotion and the feelings that I add to it that cause the pain. And I was like, that's not true. If I have somebody in my family pass away, which I have, that caused so much pain and hurt for me. But in the class I was in, they said, Kiera, like people are passing away all across the world every single day. Why aren't you upset about that? And I thought, well, like, yes, it's an event. And sometimes if I really think about it, it can cause a lot of pain and suffering, but it's because I'm then adding emotion and feeling to it and I'm creating that. And I thought, people get divorced every single day, but that's not my life. And so the event itself doesn't actually cause the pain and the suffering. It's the emotion that I add to it that creates that suffering. And that, like I said, if that resonates with you today, high five. Like, I'm so glad I helped you with a breakthrough. If today that irritates you, high five. I'm giving you a hug and loving you right now through whatever you're going through. That was just something that I wanted to share, that I know with this embrace the suck mentality, things are hard. There are hard things in this life, but I don't believe it has to be hard. I don't believe that everything has to be hard. I think that for me, like I mentioned before, I've kind of created a pattern and like my flavor of pain and suffering that I like to go back to all the time because that's comfortable for me per se. It's a place that I feel normal. I mean, if let's say I had somebody quit our company a couple of days ago, and normally I would have been devastated. I would have been rocked. Or there was another experience of somebody from my past life that came back in, and normally that would have rocked me for, 2 months. But I realized I actually have a choice, like you were saying, Tiff, of what experience, how do I want to feel? And is this really creating emotion, or do I actually feel guilty if I'm not upset? Like, I was okay when the person left. Like, yes, that sucks, but embrace it, see it for what it was, and then figure out what I'm going to do to move on. And so I think that this is kind of a sensitive subject because I think there's all people of all different walks, of all different experiences listening right now. And I don't mean to come across in any way offensive or I guess like non-empathetic or loving, because I think that this is a sensitive subject. And that's why I wanted to bring this, because if Tiff and we can bring a different perspective or maybe give you a different avenue of something that when things suck, that you don't have to feel pain every time, and that there maybe is a different route you could go. If that gives hope to anybody listening today, I think, Tiff, you and I did our job. What are your thoughts on, again, anything I said? It's kind of a loose rabbit hole today that we're going down that I really love.
They're my favorite, so I'm totally in heaven right now. Well, I think again, like everything, that wrap up that you just did, like, okay. And I am a very empathic person, so I feel that on every level. But I think it can be if you're feeling like triggered, if you're feeling triggered by this conversation, you have a choice. You have the choice to be like, I'm triggered by this and I'm going to be upset because no, I don't have a choice. Or you can be very empowered, because I find it very empowering in the moment when I will give myself the grace to feel empowered about something like this. It is extremely empowering to be able to say, like, you know what? No, I don't actually want to feel that way right now. I don't want to be sad. Like, I actually don't feel good when I'm sad. Right?
Well,
my body doesn't feel good.
How often do you make yourself guilty because you think you should feel sad about an event?
Oh my
Or you think that you're wrong because you don't, right? Like, isn't that another, like a whole different level to this? Because like when that person left, I mean, yes, I was sad in the fact of like, dang it, I did like her. I liked her in our company, but like, hey, everybody makes their choice. And if our company is not the best choice for you, or you want to go a different route or school or whatever it is, like, high five. I need to embrace that, even though, and I did feel guilty when I felt like I'm okay. It didn't rock me. There was guilt in me, and I'm like, Kiera, you need to be upset about this.
Right.
And
how it's a socially trained behavior.
Right.
It is. It's a socially trained behavior. It's something that as human beings, we have learned that something like that is supposed to rock us. We're supposed to be upset over it. We're supposed to wonder what we could have done better. How could we have changed? And yes, you want to look at that. Like, hey, what feedback do you have for me? Right? 100%, but it is a socially trained behavior to think that we need to feel a certain way. And it's something I have been working through a ton the past 2 months. And I've been working with my coach. I hired a coach, a therapy coach, because I was like, these emotions are just rocking me. And that's something that we've been working on, is really just understanding that there is no, you should feel a certain way. And I know I've said that to people. No, you should feel that way. You're totally validated. Or, gosh, I feel like you should be really upset over that. Like, who am I to say how someone should or shouldn't feel? You should feel however the heck you want to feel about the situation. And whomever wants to judge or have their own feelings about how you're feeling, that's their decision. So it's just like living in that world. It's like a bird's eye view. If you can take yourself out of whatever you're sitting in and do this bird's eye view of like, hang on, what's actually happening here, and observe everything going on. Like, what are these chess pieces? Why are they moving on their own? I'm just allowing the board to play chess by itself, and I have no control over here. Just take a look at it and think like, where can I regain some control and really be empowered by the situation and the fact that I get to feel however I want to feel about this, and I choose to feel this way. And you can choose to feel sad. Some days I'm like, no, I don't have it in me today. I just want to be sad. Fine, be sad. But it's very empowering, I think, or it can be, to be able to just say, like, I choose this. And one thing that I don't remember per se the words that you used that brought this to me, but someone said to me a few months ago, easy breeds boredom, right? So if we're going about our day or our lives and everything's always easy, we look for the easiest path. We look for the path of least resistance. We don't want to feel anger or upset, or we skirt around things to avoid confrontation. We're trying to make our lives as easy as possible. We're breeding boredom into our lives, right? So eventually you're just going to be like, how did I get here? How did I get here? I need an adventure. I need excitement. And it's like, well, we've been avoiding all of those things for so long to try to keep our life easy, when really we could have just been choosing how we wanted our life to look the whole time.
Such good points on all this. And I hope all of you listening are just, what I hope today's podcast is doing is sparking your mind to think differently. Because the day that you can think differently and realize you have a choice of how you choose to feel, and ultimately it's in your control. Like they always say, like, no, I can't choose how I feel. And I remember like going through Tony Robbins, and he's like, all right now, stand up, like turn on your favorite pump up jam and like jump up and down. And then tell me how you feel. Like rate how you feel right now, sitting down in your chair, driving, whatever. Like right now, I'm probably at, like a 4 or 5. And it's nothing personal. It's just, I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I feel like a 4 or 5, maybe 6. Like when Tiff and I get really excited, I'll get up to like 7, 8. But then if I like sit up in my chair, I've got like a strong stance. I'm like, oh my gosh, right now, like I literally just sat up straight, like put my sternum where it's like straight up. And I'm like, wow, I feel like at 8, 9, 10, like I'm super confident. And your physiology, changing the words you're saying can instantly change you instantly. And that's what's so cool is I think when you realize you are in control of embracing this suck, you get to determine how that suck shakes out. Is it going to be something that rocks your world and you're devastated and you can't find anybody else? Because guess what? When you're on that path I just talked to an office yesterday and she's like, Kiera, we've tried everything. We've tried everything to try and hire somebody. And I was like, really? I just hired 2 people in a week and a half. And she's like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? And I said, Tiff and I ran simultaneously 3 ads at a time on 3 different days. We had over 85 resumes. I interviewed over 25 people myself. Then we brought over 10 people into the office to interview and we hired. And I'm like, are you doing that? And she's like, no, I'm not. I said, also, as soon as that resume came in, we were texting them, calling them, emailing them. We were on top of them because we were that determined to hire. And so I think it's that you can sit there and be negative and, oh my gosh, everything's falling apart. Or like, I can take charge of my life. I can embrace this and I can turn this problem into an opportunity. I can turn this into whatever I want. I can use this fuel as leverage. Like, I mean, I'll tell you, when I'm mad at somebody, there have been some of my best ideas that have come out of being ticked off at somebody. I mean, our workshop Wednesdays, though, if you guys haven't attended, come to our free workshop Wednesdays. The consultants, we love to put them on for you guys. But that idea literally came about through COVID when I was ticked off mad at somebody I just adored in my life. I was so angry with them and I was like, that's it, workshop Wednesday. And it just like came from me. So I think when you can use these opportunities in your life, and I also think if we call them opportunities or just events or moments, as opposed to saying this bad moment or this great moment. When you tie that bad or great in front of it, that adds more emotion than is maybe necessary. I mean, it's just an event. It's an event on a timeline, and it can move on or it can stay with you. It's totally up to you. And when I finally realize that and have embraced it, and I sometimes get stuck and I have to call Tiff and be like, Tiff, remind me. Or like, Tiffanie, life's terrible. And she's like, Kiera, girl, it's just a moment. That's when you can pull yourself back out and realize you have a choice.
Yep. Totally agree. And I think it's important to have those people in your life that you can call and be like, okay, talk me off a ledge. Or sometimes I call and I'm like, okay, Kiera, like, I don't want to be talked off the edge. I just want to talk, but having those friends and those relationships in life where you can just call somebody and be like, I just need this space right now for this. That's huge, huge. Because sometimes you just have to talk something out in order to change your perspective on it.
For sure. And I think, Tiff, that's one thing that I love about consulting and training offices is giving them a different angle that maybe they didn't see. Giving them an opportunity as teams of, oh my gosh, Kiera, so-and-so just quit. And I'm like, high five yourselves. Like, I had an office and 2 people quit on them. And they're like, Kiera, we have never been more productive or more efficient or have better morale in the last 10 years with these 2 people in there. And I'm like, but yet other offices are like, oh my gosh, 2 people just quit and our life is falling apart. I love the consulting and training aspect that we do that can flip that can show you the positives, that can show you how this leverage of negatives or positives can fuel you to become the office you want to be, and really capitalizing and maximizing on that to help you guys ultimately get the lives you want to live, not the ones you think you should.
Yep. Okay.
So guys, what are you going to do? Are you going to embrace the suck? Are you going to realize that ultimately everything that you feel kind of boils down to you? Not kind of, it does boil down to you and what you choose to see this world as. It's the filter you choose to place out there. Tiffanie and I can sit here and we can both look at the sky, and if Tiff has red sunglasses on and I don't, we're looking and Tiff says the sky is red and I say the sky is blue, who's ultimately right? We both are. It just depends on the filter that we choose to put on this life. So how do you filter the suck of life? I know I can be pity party Nancy over here, or I can be empowered Kiera that takes off and says, okay, that was that and that hurts, and feel it for however long I need to, and move on and see what we're going to make because of that problem that just became an opportunity of positivity in our life. So what are you guys going to do? I guess it's up to you. Let us know. Email us hello@thedental8team. If you guys need a consultant or trainer, Tiff, Ashley, myself, we have a few others that are joining our team. We're super jazzed about them. But we have a huge team that's here, an army of people ready to help you change your perspective, embrace the suck. Tiff, any last thoughts you want to add on?
Oh my gosh, no, I loved it all. I say re-listen to this and take more notes. That's my last thought.
Right? Because they say repetition is the mother of skill. So listen to it over and over and over again, and that will become a skill that you'll possess, not just a wish you hope to have. And with that, that's a wrap, Tiffy. Tiff, thanks so much for being on the podcast. I love when we get a podcast.
Of course. Me too. That was fun.
It was fun. Good. I feel like a 9-10 right now. I feel really great.
I know. I did those. That's why I was like, no, as soon as we start, it'll be fine.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Dental 18 podcast. Guess what's back, you guys? Women Dentist Connect. Yes, Dr. Summer Casmel and myself are putting on our first ever virtual event. We did it last year. We had raving fans, and due to COVID-19, we decided we're going to continue on. So mark your calendars, November 13th and 14th. All women in dentistry. We don't care who you are. If you're a doctor, a treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, spouse, we want all females to come with us to Women Dentist Connect. So pop on over to our website, womendentistconnect.com. Tickets are on sale right now. And we even did a thing where it's your entire team can actually come. We want all of you to come. It's going to be CE. We're going to talk about mom guilt, how to run a successful business. We're having an incredible speaker lineup with Dr. Mark Costas. He's our only male cameo. We're having Desiree Yazdan on social media marketing, Aaron Elliott, who's talking about sleep apnea. We're also bringing on Dr. Amanda Wilson to talk about ortho. And of course, Dr. Summer Casmel and myself will be there talking about how to hold your team accountable, how to run effective meetings. So don't wait. Get on over to womendentistconnect.com. I'll see you guys November 13th and 14th.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental 18 podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.